but your wedding, your marriage was blessed, lah.
Yeah, I was blessed. I mean, who knows? Maybe in the afterlife, I'll be, thank God I got blessings. Then I see you, I look down at you, Terence, you're in hell. I'm like, you never get blessings, right? you make all those comments, who's the one blessed now?
Oh, no, there's the religious blackmail. I've used that technique before when I was evangelizing. I've used that technique before. Like, oh, do you want to be that person?
You never know,
like,
right? You never know.
Isn't it safer just to... It's like insurance like that.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
What's new, man, Terence?
Speeding towards Christmas.
Yeah.
It's that time of the year again.
Yeah.
Crazy rains.
Crazy rains.
We delivered a whole bunch of like the folklore Christmas orders yesterday.
Yeah.
Great experience because we actually even met Yalabat listeners along the way, right?
Yeah, correct.
And it's just nice to actually, meet these Yalabat listeners face to face.
And it was really like a road trip around, like, because we went west, then we went northwest, then we went southeast, then we went northeast, then southeast, then center. So it was a team folklore road trip.
Yeah, a real trek around Singapore.
Yeah. So it was interesting, and it only rained towards the end, thankfully.
But it was, it
was crazy rain.
It was pretty crazy. Visibility on the road was pretty crazy. Yeah.
And like this weekend is literally, I'm sure some people taking like super long weekends and all that.
Christmas is Monday, right?
Christmas Monday, then New Year's is also Monday. Yeah. So it's one of those years where it's fit for a long weekend.
I don't know. Do you like Monday public holidays? Do you like those?
Of course, Friday is always the best.
Yeah.
But I would say Monday compared to midweek, Monday.
Still better, right?
Still better.
Yeah. But I do enjoy, like the public holidays or what on a Sunday, and then Monday is like the rest day, right? Because it kind of makes it that Monday, some people there'll still be stuff to do, like
that's
celebrations
true.
And meeting up with people.
That's
then
true.
The next day straight away, sort of back to work already.
That's true. Because at first I was thinking, no difference if it's on Sunday also, but it's true.
No
like
difference.
Diwali was on Sunday this year.
Yeah.
So Monday is about you can relax.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was on Monday, that's
right.
true.
Just a little nitpicky. I mean, can't complain on any long weekend or what, right? But still, just the feel of it is a little different, right?
So then New Year's also, New Year's on Monday.
I mean, New Year's is kind of like you hit the ground running. You're supposed to hit the ground running. New Year's resolutions and all that already, right? So it doesn't really matter as much. But I think that pivotal time between 25th December to 1st Jan, I'm always in a funk like during that period. Like, should you be like moving on with the new year and
Oh, you mean post Christmas?
Yeah, post Christmas.
Funk.
Yeah, a little bit. It is.
Like, why?
Because the lead up to Christmas is always fun, right?
Yeah,
a lot of like parties and meeting people, all that. Then after that, you're like, okay, the reason for celebrating is a bit more ambiguous already, Because I feel Christmas, okay, gather with friends, family, blah, blah. But after that, like New Year celebrations, always like, is either debauchery, like getting crazy drunk and like having like big regrets, after that. Or it's like gearing up for the year ahead already, right?
Oh, there's nothing in between.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I feel like it's so ambiguous between those two that,
But don't you like meet up with friends, Sunday opportunities to do that and all?
Yeah, but less like, there's no like,
You meet up with friends, let's get hammered.
There's no structure or ritual around it. Whereas like before Christmas, there's always like, oh, let's meet up. Oh, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, here's a gift, and thank you for your gift, reflect a little bit of the year. Whereas like 26th to 1st Jan is a bit of like, less of the looking back and more of the looking forward to the new year already. Right?
That's why I think the 1st Jan, like New Year's falling on a Monday, is the worst thing ever.
Why?
Because you think about it, okay, the good thing about Christmas is it's one of those public holidays where you have a public holiday in a week's time. Which I think they really maxed out there.
Yeah.
Because you know that the year is not going to start.
Yeah.
Right? But for New Year's, the year is going to start. And then this year, the New Year is going to start on a Monday. It's like the start of a work week.
But it's perfect, right? It lines up perfectly. First day of the week, first
No.
day of the year.
Then it should be Friday. Like Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be best. Like you imagine New Year's is on a Friday.
Yeah,
You start the week on a weekend.
Yeah.
Start the year on a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's more of an issue that New Year's is on Monday than Christmas is on Monday. Yeah.
Yeah. No, then and the other thing also is like my Spotify playlist also. I can no longer play all the festive songs already after Christmas.
I mean, technically you can lah.
You can lah, but it's
But the
kind of
mood
lame.
not there lah.
It's
The
kinda
mood
lame
not there.
already, right? Yeah. So then what do you listen to lah?
It's like after Diwali if you play Diwali.
Exactly. I had
Is
to
it-
scrap my Diwali
Oh, is
playlist
it?
like right after Diwali.
Even
That's
though
so
you
sad.
really wanted to carry on.
I wanted
You
to,
really
but
wanted to carry
all
on.
the Christmas decorations around me just forced me to like change my playlist already.
I
lah.
see.
Yeah.
And there's no light that would go on Boxing Day lah, to change to New Year's lights, right?
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
Diwali maybe like it hit midnight, people are turn on
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
lights already.
turn on already. Yeah.
Turn on.
This one don't have. Yeah.
The
The only thing I appreciate are the football matches on Boxing Day.
Boxing
right?
Day,
Yeah. So I think basketball also has like the Christmas Day games, and that means it's technically Boxing Day in Singapore already lah.
It's Boxing Day.
Mm.
Boxing Day.
So those provide a little bit of festivities beyond Christmas lah.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's always like it's a bit of
You're in a
funky
bit of
period.
a funk,
Yeah.
funky period.
Which is kind of related to what we're discussing today also lah, right? About rituals and how they're in a bit of ambiguity, funky period, or even like new places that you're staying in, transition period, funky,
So very, very, very apt. Very apt.
So I set it all up, man. It was a setup. I planned this.
So then is it your
long
true
time ago.
feelings or not? Or you're
No,
just
okay, it's 100% true,
100% true.
No, in fact, if anyone has like Spotify playlist for post-Christmas, before New Year kind of thing to listen
Post-Christmas funk.
Yeah. I have a couple, but they don't really fit the whole thing for me.
Okay, so that's a call to action.
Yeah.
Any playlist for that funk period between Christmas and New Year?
Yeah, correct.
Cool. Okay, so before we jump into the topics, what's our spiel, Terence?
If you're new to this podcast, please follow on Spotify or subscribe on YouTube. We know a lot of new people have subscribed, so that's great. But there's also a lot of people who are watching our recent podcasts that are not subscribed. And please do so, because that helps this podcast also get discovered by more people like yourselves.
Yeah.
So that you have more to talk about together, right?
Exactly.
During the holiday period.
And if you want to work with us, just hit us up at contact@ministryofunny.com. And today we have one more request. A few episodes ago, we mentioned that there's this ongoing poll that we're running in collaboration with our dear partner Lendela, which is a loan comparison platform in Singapore. We know that this time of year, with Christmas and New Year's, can get a bit busy. So we are extending the deadline till end of the year. So 31st December. The giveaways are still that you get a chance to win 5 shopping vouchers. But it's super important and helpful for us if you can do the survey. And why? Why, Terence? Why is it so helpful?
Because, this was in relation to the episode 466. And it was about transparency, accountability.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we want to find out, like, do people actually enjoy these themed countdown episodes, right? Where we get a little bit meta and introspective and talk a little bit about the topics that we've covered in this year.
Yeah.
So it's interesting for us also to understand whether people enjoyed us talking about these.
Yeah, because the format we did was a bit different, right? We didn't bring on a guest. We didn't do a pre-roll ad.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a halfway in between.
Yeah.
So, us and even Lendela themselves, we really want to understand your thoughts about the format, the topics that were discovered, even about Lendela themselves. Because, we want to do more brand deals because it helps grow the podcast. But we also want to make sure that every deal we do, it brings some value to you guys. So there's just like 3 questions. It'll take you 2 minutes and you can win $50 shopping vouchers.
Yeah.
So end of the year, 31st December, the link is in the show notes. It's a super quick survey. Like what we said before, if you wanted to support us before, now is the time. All right. Super easy.
Yep.
Sweet.
But cool.
Cool, man.
Jump into the first ambiguous topic.
Jump into the first topic. And that is the little kerfuffle that has been whipped up around the world, and with some repercussions in Singapore also, is coming off the recent announcement or statement published on by the Catholic Church. So the Roman Catholic Church, where they basically the Vatican has now approved blessings for same-sex couples in a landmark ruling. So this was just this past Monday, 18 December.
Yeah.
So the ruling approved by Pope Francis that the Roman Catholic priests can administer blessings to same-sex couples as long as they are not part of regular church rituals or liturgies. So, I mean, there's been a lot of clarification since then, including from the Roman Catholic Church of Singapore. But what was interesting about this for you, Terence?
When I first saw the headlines about this, specifically the Singapore Catholic Church's clarification, I had this impression that the Singapore Catholic Church was deviating. Oh, the word is very loaded. Deviating from the official Roman Catholic Church's line on the blessing of same-sex unions. But yeah, I kind of, as I read more, I discovered actually no, it's not that they're deviating, but it seems like the impression that the headlines that the media are giving are that that the Roman Catholic Church in Singapore was sort of going on a slightly different track from the actual Catholic Church. Yeah. But it turns out it's not.
It's not.
And that's the interesting part that I found about this.
So you thought that the official blessings and the ability to do that was just a Singapore thing?
No, I thought that the Roman Catholic Church was basically evolving their stance on the same-sex unions and marriages, and allowing priests to like bless same-sex unions and marriages, and then, but in line with Singapore's general more conservative stance on marriage and everything, the Roman Catholic Church in Singapore saying no, that's not what's happening. We are actually, I mean, it's a very fine line between blessing a union and blessing the people in a union, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the interesting thing that I found here. I find parallels to other things that we've discussed before, But for you, like, what made you excited about this topic? Is it because you'll be spending some time in church over Christmas and everything? So
Terence, yes. For those of you new listeners, I am married to a Catholic woman who I love very much.
Yes.
And it has made me also think over the years a bit more about religion and the role in my wife's lives, the role in our future family's life, and the role in my life. So for me, I will still consider myself agnostic, right? But yeah, this one, talking about it was interesting because not only because I'm going to be spending time in church on Christmas, but because it is something that, like, for a religion to evolve its approach to something, I think that is something that is very notable.
Yeah.
And of course, the consequences of that, because there'll be some people who will definitely be against it. You get the official institutions, but you also get the people from that religion. So I thought, hey, actually, this is interesting. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about, because the current Pope, he's actually done quite a lot of stuff that has, ruffled the feathers of the conservatives, based on just seeing from the outside.
Yeah.
But in this case, to your point, even reading the article, it does, the first line of this article, which I don't think, it's on Channel News Asia, but was it written? So basically it says, the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Singapore on Tuesday reiterated its stance of not blessing same-sex unions and said the recent declaration by the Pope was to set out the rules and boundaries for priests on how they should bless these couples. But the phrasing, reiterated its stance of not blessing same-sex unions. That one makes me, like what you said, when I read it, I'm like, oh, are they saying that they're reiterating their stance that they're not going to bless same-sex unions? But then I realized when they say same-sex unions, blessing the union is different from blessing the couple.
Yeah.
And I think that's the crux of it.
Yeah,
right.
Essentially.
Yeah.
It's when I was saying there's a parallel to something we discussed before, I think when we were talking about, remember there was a particular church in Singapore that created the TrueLove.is campaign, right? Which was about welcoming homosexuals to come to church as opposed to come out. Something like that.
Come home,
come home to church instead of coming out, right?
Yeah.
And from a layperson person perspective, the general idea behind it is that you basically you don't condone the sin, but you welcome the sinner into the church right? And the idea is that if you don't act on your and this is a lot of the terminology they use so I might be paraphrasing here, but if you don't act on your same-sex attraction, that is you not committing the sin right?
Because the sin is the act, not the love.
The sin is
right?
the act of same-sex attraction right?
Intercourse,
Same-sex attraction, I think generally they say same-sex attraction is a thing and exists, but it's not ideal in the eyes of God and blah blah blah. So if you don't act on it, that is you also trying your best to be to live by the Christian beliefs, right? So generally, okay, maybe I as I say, I'm paraphrasing generally what it is.
Ruffling a lot of feathers, no,
correct. So I just want to be careful because we've had the truelove.is people on our podcast before, as well as other people from more liberal denominations of the church as well, right? So it's a very fine distinction between those two, like the person and the act, right? The person being the one, the gay person, and the act being the being in a gay relationship, for example, right? So they differentiate very clearly between the two, and they say if you don't act on your impulses, you can still be a good person in the eyes of God and the church and all that, right? So in some sense, when I read a lot of what the actual stance of the Catholic Church is, I think it's a very long document, right? It's like 8 pages of a clarification. I think that this is essentially what they are saying also, that you can bless the person who is in a very irregular kind of relationship or union. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're blessing the union itself, because the union is not ideal, but the person is still a child of God, blah blah, so we can bless the person. And correct me if I'm wrong, if that's my general understanding of it.
No, that's my understanding also. And I mean, just certain quotes from the article. Unlike the official blessings of the church, which require the use of approved prayers in addition to conditions to be met, pastoral blessings are ad-lib prayers offered spontaneously for the person. Because, I mean, for those who have never been to a Catholic church or a ceremony, I mean, part of my marriage, it happened in the church, right?
Yeah.
And there are certain things that you have to do, whether you're
classes, right? You go for classes.
There was that engage encounter thing.
Counseling.
Not counseling.
Then what is it?
It's just like a marriage prep course.
A prep course, okay.
Yeah. You ever ready to jump?
Counseling is okay. Counseling is not a dirty word.
Yeah,
relax.
But counsel, the core of counsel, you counsel someone. I mean, in my layperson understanding is you counsel because they have something that needs to be counseled on. Right?
Sensitive.
This is marriage prep.
Counseling is open and for anyone. Even if you're doing well in life, you can still receive counsel. I think. But receive counsel from your lawyer or whatever.
But I think the official thing is a marriage prep course, I mean, you go to a lawyer because you don't just yo, bro, just counsel me today, man. Yeah, it's a marriage prep course. And I actually thought it was useful, and I was very happy that it was quite secular.
Okay.
It wasn't very biblical or anything. So, but I mean, in the church, there are certain rites and processes that you need to go through.
Yeah.
So this one, reading it, it's like, okay, it is just a blessing because like what you said, the statement is they do not bless the sins of the person, but rather the individual who is always loved by God, even when he or she is a sinner. So, of course, to reiterate again, Terence and I both are not from the church. So reading this also sometimes it feels we're not explaining on behalf of the church, but it is just what is observed in the news. And why it's interesting is because this Pope, right, this decision was a decision that has been reverses the church's official stance back in 2021, where they said no blessings allowed. So I mean that's why
no blessings for you.
No blessings for you. Yeah. So that's why it's interesting because this Pope, I mean, some other stuff that he has done that is quite trying to be more inclusive to the LGBT community in particular. Wait, let me pull it up. Has been quite interesting. Let's see. So this is not the first time Pope Francis has worked to open the church to the LGBTQ community. So according to what I find online, is the AP News website. Last month, so October or November, the Vatican said it is permissible under certain circumstances for trans people to be baptized as Catholics and serve as godparents. And even over the course of the year, the Pope has been hinting that, being homosexual isn't a crime, and that he's trying to push for more openness. So I actually thought this was quite surprising. Yeah.
But I guess the one of the questions that as a non-religious person, as a lay person might be thinking is like, what's the big deal? Why you need to get if you gay and you're in a gay relationship, then don't get blessed. Why need to get blessed? Why should it affect you? Why do you need to care what some old institution or old person?
As in, if you're
about?
not religious.
No.
If you
are a person in a gay relationship, person in a gay relationship, why do you care so much about being blessed by church? Why, Harish? Why?
I have no idea. But from what I've seen, okay, so there's a lot that I have learned about religion from my wife.
Yes.
Or the place that religion plays in people's lives.
Yeah. And the fact that you also like during like Christmas, everything, you do spend time at the church and all that.
Yeah.
Right? Even as a non-religious person.
Yeah.
Right?
And I never thought I would marry a religious person.
And you never thought you'd be spending Christmas Day
I never thought that.
at the church.
Yeah. I never thought that. I never thought I'd get married in the church.
Yeah.
So when I had to do it, I was like, oh, okay. So I've had to...
correction. You didn't have to do it. You wanted to do it, right? It's part of your wedding and your love for your wife and everything. That's backtracking for you.
No, but to be perfectly honest, like it took like a discussion between me and my first of all, to get married also was a conversation.
Sure.
Right, about the approach to life, to kids and all. And yeah, it really made me look hard and think hard about, okay, am I actually okay with it? And then look at what roles religion plays in people's lives. So over the course, looking at my wife, her family, my friends who are also religious, I realized religion is not something for me.
Yeah.
But for them, or like even some of my older parents, older uncles, my mom, it plays a role in their life. And I think there's many reasons why, I surmise, but it's just a way of life. So going back to your question about why they care about blessing, you never know, right? Someone might have religion as an integral part of their life, and they still find value in even getting blessing. Like when I got married, I was blessed by the priest, but I'm not a Catholic.
But do you feel like amazing afterwards, after you got the blessing,
Not directly because of that.
But your marriage was blessed,
Yeah, I was blessed.
And sacred union.
And even I grew up in a Hindu household, right? Right now for Diwali, there are blessings that are done.
Sure.
Right? So I'm like, if it means a lot to my mom, if it means a lot to my wife, sure lah. Like, who knows? Maybe in the afterlife, I'll be, thank God I got blessings. Then I see you, I look down at you, Terence, you're in hell. I'm like, you never get blessings, right? you make all those comments, who's the one blessed now?
Oh, no, there's the religious blackmail. I've used that technique before when I was evangelizing. I've used that technique before. Like, do you want to be that person?
You never know, right? You never know.
Isn't it safer just to? It's like insurance like that,
But I think that's part of like marrying someone, You marry the person and their beliefs. I also have like beliefs. I also have ways of life, And to me, religion is a way of life,
Yeah. No, I have. When I was younger, I was a bit more, religious and spent time at both Christian, the Methodist churches and the Catholic church as well. I was like figuring out myself out, right? And to be perfectly honest, also was like trying to improve my social life, meet more girls, essentially.
I was waiting for that to come out.
I want to be honest. I'm going to be honest about it.
You better say.
I'm going to be honest about it. Yeah. That was in my younger days. But I really got some of them. I really got quite into it, I'll admit, right? I was at one point even that guy on the street evangelizing the people.
MRT stations,
telling them about 4 spiritual laws and doing what you just did to me, like, one day, what if your friend, you don't, he's in hell and you're in heaven, blah blah, you don't talk to them. Then I emotionally blackmail people into helping out, right?
Yeah.
But one thing about Catholicism, I realized that is maybe even the Methodist churches you don't feel as much, right? That it really stems from a place of like family ritual, right? A lot of the things that are done in the Catholic Church are very based on a lot of rituals, a lot of age-old rituals that they've done for a long time. And a lot of families get into it, and it's a big part of their week, right? Going to church every week, dressing up, meeting your friends, and all these rituals. And it's just part of the family fabric, right? The social fabric of the not just the immediate family, extended family and all. So you can imagine how stressful it might be for a gay person who the entire family, extended family, is part of this community that follows all these rituals and all that. But you never feel like you can go and get the same blessings as your cousins or your brothers or sisters because of your sexual preferences, right? And it can be very stressful, right? Like people ask you, hey, why don't we go to church together and blah blah blah, this kind of thing. And then maybe you're not out yet or anything, and you don't dare to say this kind of thing. So in some sense, like this is I guess is a positive step that allows these people who feel very very torn between their family commitments and the actual sexual preference that they can actually I can take a step back into this very important community that has been part of my life all this while and receive a blessing, right? In spite of what is perceived to be a sin within the church, right? So yeah, I know gay people who are still Catholics who still go to church with families and things like that. I feel like they wouldn't say no to this, right? Yeah. Maybe like it's not the huge step that maybe they hope for that might happen one day, but it's a step,
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a step because I also see online a lot of comments saying, "Oh, sort out your whole issue with pedophilia and all that kind of stuff." And yeah, certain things that have happened within the church are messed up, right? But I think and even I won't deny that when I go to church with my wife and let's say the priest is very adamant about all the non-believers here, all the people who are asleep and like it really
scold you for
makes
sleeping also.
No, like asleep in your mind.
Oh, asleep in your mind.
I would say, right.
I thought you were dozing off and then
normally,
they scold you.
if I go there, I respect, okay? Then I look around, I look at so many people who are Catholics who are falling asleep like crazy. I'm like, wow, okay. But I think...
How do you know they're not praying? How do you know they're falling asleep?
You see the head swing like left, right, and
very
all that.
emotional, that's why they're swinging.
Okay, so yeah, maybe I should not judge. I should be more compassionate, right?
Yeah, be more compassionate.
But then I think whenever there's this message that you are an outsider here, I'm very open with my wife also. I think like, does it need to sit to focus on that, you know? I think there's stuff you can learn. And certain priests I listen to, I'm like, hey, actually they say some stuff that even if you don't believe any religion, there's just some nice message there.
Yep.
So when there's this, we are inside, you are outside, that's when I feel like, then what am I doing here?
Yeah.
So this thing, of course, I'm also not from the LGBTQ community, but I've always had this idea that, like religion, maybe the issue is because all these religions are based on teachings from like 2,000 years ago. Can't there be an update or something? And into this Pope's credit, he's kind of like, the religion is evolving, which I think, hey, actually that's interesting. I know he's quite polarizing. I know he has done stuff that like the more conservative people feel it's not good. But yeah, like what you said, it's a step. And I think that is something to be like not say celebrated, but I don't know, feels like okay, there's some change.
Yeah. But to clarify very specifically, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that people in a same-sex union or something can, or they're thinking of having some ceremony to commemorate their union, can get a priest to come and give them blessings. It's very specific that it is stated in document, like when people spontaneously ask for blessing at pilgrimages, shrines, or even a street and meet a priest, such blessings are meant for everyone. No one's to be excluded from them, right? So it's a bit more informal, or more casual-ish kind of thing. But they said that it's when the prayer of blessing is requested by the couple in an irregular situation, it should never be imparted in concurrence with the ceremonies of a civil union and not even in connection with them. So very clearly it's saying that if it's something to do with celebrating an LGBT union or marriage. No, cannot.
Yeah.
Cannot have this any like prayer or blessing or what. But if it just happens that, hey, please, can you give some blessings to me because my going through tough times or whatever, a more casual kind of request, then there is, this is telling the priest that you can do that, as blessings are, I quote positive messages of comfort, care, and encouragement right, for people.
Yeah, and I think that one, as a couple, you can get blessed as a couple,
Yeah,
right? It's not say hiding that also.
Yeah.
And of course, the one thing that I've seen some how you say, like, professors of theology and all voice out is that by doing this, it would make things confusing. That's where we say the ambiguity,
Yeah.
Because we already know from our 3 podcasts we did with the people from TrueLove.is, Free Community Church, and someone who has
Sean,
Sean, the LGBTQ magazine, right? That even within these religious institutions, there are different approaches,
spectrum.
The spectrum, right? So in this case, like, I mean, I can imagine the more conservative viewpoint saying that, oh, if you get pastors or priests out there who are kind of like believe that even the union should be blessed, there'll be some way to find a loophole or something Then I mean, I'm like, then it feels like that is it's almost then nothing can change and that's the aspect of like the religion or conservatives that I feel I don't think that's also fair.
Yeah.
Because the doctrine and all, it should be something that can change with the times, because the times change,
Yeah.
So that's where, I mean, there's definitely, I'm sure within the community, there's a lot of pushback against this. And even across the different, what do you call it, between Catholicism, Anglicanism, what's that?
Denominations.
Between the different denominations. Because apparently even earlier this year, the Anglican Church, the Church of England, they also made the same decision to bless same-sex couples. But the Anglican Church in Singapore publicly said they were deeply disappointed. So that's where I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting that even within the different denominations, there are different, how you say, consensus on these kind of things.
I mean, like the Yahoo News headline is, Singapore's Catholic Church reaffirms stance on marriage amid Vatican nod for blessings for same-sex couples. So if I didn't read more into it, this actually sounds to me like the Singapore Catholic Church is going against the grain. Against the grain of what the Roman Catholic Church is doing. But
it's not.
It's not, So that's I guess the big yellow butt moment that occurred for me when I was reading about this topic.
So you think the media outlets purposely title it like that?
I mean, the fact that it got me like, wow, a bit more interested in this topic. A bit clickbaity.
A bit clickbaity.
A bit clickbaity. And or maybe just not clear enough, right? That it's a
sorry, I mean, can you click
reaffirmation. Yeah. Because you look at the Straits Times one. I think the Straits Times one is much clearer. It's just Catholic Church hasn't changed stance on traditional marriage. This is by the Singapore Catholic Church. So that one is like, okay, this is more like a clarification. Whereas the other headline that I just read from Yahoo News just now feels more like, controversy,
Yeah, interesting. And I mean, like I think this conversation is going to be carrying on for a few days because it's 18 December that it was announced, right? And you're seeing more articles, more editorials, more opinion pieces being put out. Some on Twitter are like, the church is crumbling. This is a form of heresy. And I mean, also some news being put out that even in Germany, the individual priests have been blessing same-sex couples for years. So apparently the German church, the Catholic Church, is quite progressive. So yeah, like I always thought that religion was this like monolith, like everybody believes the same thing. But even within the Catholic Church, there are these things called like the dubia, which is a Latin word for doubts, that some very senior cardinals put forth to Pope Francis. He wrote a reply, they disagreed, they changed the questions, put it to him, he replied, they didn't reply. So even there's a lot of discussions going on, which I'm like, okay, that's interesting, that it happens.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, is it surprising to you that this comes out like right before Christmas and everything? Is it maybe? Do you think they were like pushing it through so that over Christmas Like people who want to go and
Can get blessed,
can get blessed during Christmas and everything.
I don't know, man. I don't know enough about how the Catholic Church
There's a
works and
deadline.
all.
They have this timeline that they need to
Like,
meet,
you know, political elections.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
before elections, they give GST,
Yeah.
like rebate or vouchers or something. I don't know whether the church works like that.
yeah.
All the most controversial things comes before Christmas.
Yeah.
Because they're like, okay, you're going to celebrate next week, right? Don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but we're going to allow this.
Or in some ways,
Merry Christmas.
if you're a bit less cynical, you can see it's like, oh, okay, Christmas coming up. Like, families, please come together to church or whatever. Don't worry so much about like whether you're in a same-sex union or anything, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Could be. Harish, you very conspiracy theories about all these things.
I mean, you lay the seed, and then when I we have to yell apart. We consider conspiracy, non-conspiracy.
Yeah. So does this make you feel more welcome when you spend Christmas morning at church now?
This specifically, no.
No?
But it did occur to me that, okay, let's say we have kids in future. One of them turns out to be gay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How would that kind of factor in? Like, because I already accepted religion is going to be part of our life.
Yeah.
And not necessarily for me individually, but my family. And I've come to terms with that. You know? And there's going to be a lot of yalabat moments I'm going to have to face. But this one, I was like, hey, actually, that's interesting. I mean, hopefully it can continue to change based on like people's perceptions of different things also. But whether I would feel more welcome, I don't know. Like, if the priest still says something that makes me feel like I'm going to burn in hell for eternity.
Yeah.
Then no difference.
Yeah. The last time I was in church, I was scolded. I was scolded.
Why? Oh, yeah. For a friend's wedding, right?
Yeah.
You were scolded? I thought we saw people getting scolded.
I got scolded. Yeah.
You got scolded?
But not by the church itself, by people, saying that I was like, very desecrating. No, not saying they didn't say that lah.
Oh.
But my actions of like the photos that I wanted to get the groom to pose in were desecrating.
And you got scolded by
ground.
the mother of the groom lah.
Yeah.
Not by the church itself lah. You got scolded by them. And that wasn't the last time. The last time was when you were my wedding lah.
Yeah, correct. Oh, sorry. Yes,
dude, you were groomsman at my wedding.
Yeah. I did walk down the church. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The one I felt more like, maybe because I know you are not religious, so I was like, okay lah, I think.
But the other one you felt a bit more.
The other one was like, wow, very like strict and whole family breathing down the groom's neck, that kind of thing, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yours was more like, okay lah, I'll do it. Whatever Harish needs me to do, I'll do that, right? It's the other one I felt like, wow, this one like a lot of red tape, a lot of landmines that you potentially step on without knowing.
But that one was again the mom was annoyed with you lah, not the church lah, the mom lah.
Desecrating this holy ground.
Desecrating,
yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, interesting news.
Yeah.
I never thought we would talk about something like this, but yeah, the more we dug into it, we're like, hey, actually, worth talking about.
Yeah, worth talking about.
And of course, if you are from the church, if you feel very for or against this, we would love to hear from you, as always.
Yeah.
On Reddit, Instagram, email, anything.
Yeah. But speaking of like, ambiguity and all that, there's also another group of people who are caught in a funk, similar to what we were saying earlier. They're sort of in-betweeners where they are maybe too early or maybe they're too early to the party. And who are this group of people?
Is residents of Tengah's recently completed projects in Plantation District. So basically, there was an article that came out that shared perspectives from certain residents that talked about how the amenities, the transport options, and even the connectivity is not good lah. And basically sound bites and anecdotes like people finding trouble to get like convenience stores for like off the counter medicine, supermarkets, bus routes, and even booking a Grab. Like they were just voicing all these issues lah. Like and it's quite worrying lah.
Yeah.
For these early residents, because I know Tengah is going to be a huge ass development, right? And I'm guessing these are the first few flats that have been opened up, so people only moved in
a few months ago.
Yeah, a few months ago.
Yeah.
So
and if you look up the location, I think it's Plantation Grange. It's
Plantation District, is it?
But I think specifically they cited a couple of people who live in Plantation Grange.
Plantation Grange.
you look it up on the map, you see it's really smack in the middle of this, like all these green areas, green zones, right? That probably are being developed right now.
Yeah.
But you can really see it's really out there, right?
Yeah. So this one, I mean, okay, so why I thought would be interesting to talk about, because ultimately it is one of the earlier flats there.
Yeah.
So is it not kind of like understood that if you go there so early, the amenities will take time to build up?
So you're saying people
Soft
complaining for the sake of
complaining,
complaining.
snowflakes.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, what? Okay, because also, like, only 2 years ago I got my place, right?
Yeah.
And we got a resale.
Yeah.
Right? And deciding between resale, BTO, there are a lot of things to consider, right? If you get a BTO, like, first of all, you have to wait. And then chances are, if you want to get it in an estate that is new, it's kind of like a given that, okay, that place is going to take time to build up. The good thing about a resale is you have to pay more, right?
Yeah.
But you go into something that is what they call a mature estate,
Yeah.
because you get all these things from the get-go.
Yeah.
So it is a point of consideration, So for this, I don't know, I think they brought forward the getting the keys date. Right? Maybe because of public pressure, or maybe because after COVID, they realized they need to fucking get shit out there. And I can totally understand why people might have an urgency to move into new flats.
Yeah.
So this one, I don't know whether it's a very vocal minority, or whether in general people are aware that, okay, these sort of things will take time because it's a new estate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Yeah, initially when I read it, I was like, reading the article is kind of strange, because, I mean, you see where we are in the world today, all the things going on in the world. Then I read about this, it almost feels like this is like a war zone.
Yeah.
People at 4 a.m.
some kampong or something, yeah.
They literally, the first line is literally the guys prowling for Panadol at 4 a.m. Going through the streets and trying to buy it off like drug dealers or something.
Yeah.
And they talk about a literal NTUC fair price mobile grocery truck needing to come to the estate to provide food for the people there, right? And they have like 5 vending machines or something in one of the blocks, and 3 of them were not working or not accepting PayNow at all. So it felt like almost like, wow, describing a war zone in the middle of Singapore, like. I'm thinking, is it really that impossible to get that is so out of reach, everything's so out of reach in the area? So I went to look at photos of the development as well, based on Google reviews and everything. And it's really one of those like new towns where half the place is still being built and developed, and it's probably very dusty, not a lot of people have really moved in and settled in yet, So also no big impetus for retail operators and businesses to move in yet, right?
Yeah.
I at first I was like, are we just too spoiled or complaining about this? But I can also understand the difficulty that these people staying there are facing.
Yeah.
And rather than, because in Singapore we're so used to just walking
Convenience,
downstairs and then there's something there already, whether it's a food court or a convenience store or something, right?
Yeah.
We're so used to that. But this is literally like a very, very new town in Singapore, which we don't see that often, right? A big conglomeration, just people coming together and setting up a new town together, and living and creating an environment together. It takes many, many, many years to get to a place where everyone's comfortable and all the amenities are there in place.
Yeah.
So in some sense, I also like, okay, I understand the difficulty and maybe need a bit more compassion for these people.
Yeah, and lest I be labeled as someone without compassion for a second time, just now what I was saying was my first impression also. My first thought also, because I recall the process of even deciding where to stay, all these come into play.
Yeah.
But then for this, right, like even though Singapore is small, right, I think everybody has probably had the experience where it really doesn't matter how small Singapore is. If you cannot get someplace or you can't get a bus and you're in the middle of nowhere, and you still find places in Singapore where you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, it feels like, oh fuck, you are stranded. And I say stranded in air quotes. So in this case, I think maybe there was an expectation versus the reality difference. I don't know what was communicated to them by HDB and all. But if you move into this place, feels like, okay, could more have been done? Because I think I also saw on Reddit people saying, but last time you know, when people move into BTOs, like there's really nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, my parents moved into Tampines, right? My mom was telling me it was like a few blocks and it's just open fields every direction. La.
Yeah.
But that's also like 35 years ago. La.
Yeah.
You know, the thing about them saying that the Grab drivers or like the rideshare drivers, they can't even see it on the map.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
What I think the map and all, LTA has a role to play in that. La. Right. So one comment I saw quite often is that, okay, I understand amenities, physical shops need to be built. But the basics about the map, the access and all that, why is that taking so long? Why can't that be quicker given that there's a sizable amount of people there? La?
Yeah.
So I think the bigger question we'll ask is like, okay, is this really the reality that has to be accepted, or were things that could have been done just not done? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think some people point out that even that mobile grocery truck, right, do you see? It's only operating from 3 to 8 p.m., which is like a lot of people finish work, you know, 6, 7, and they only get home like 7 plus 8. There's not a lot of time to get to the grocery truck. So it's tough.
Yeah.
And the alternative is you go further away to go and buy your stuff, but then you have to bring back like refrigerated stuff home, plastic bags or whatever, over a very long commute, which is not ideal either, right?
And then if you want to do delivery for big items, big amounts, it might take a few days. If you want instant, it's expensive.
Yeah.
But then hearing all that, right? Given that, you look outside Singapore, the state of the world, are we just soft or not, Terrence? Literally, there's a truck that comes to where you are, 3 to 8 p.m. And okay, you have to make some concessions.
Yep.
Are we soft or not?
No, I mean, but that's the thing, and the other thing also is, again, I think similar to the previous time when you were accused of being accused of
wrong.
lacking,
I would say alleged
lacking compassion, right?
Wrongly accused.
Yeah. It was that basically the idea is that you kind of got to you don't know what these people, the difficulties they're facing. I'm guessing a lot of people living in BTOs are young couples, maybe young parents with young kids. And it's, if you need to buy something for a young kid, you know, at midnight or 10 p.m. or 4 in the morning, like this person had to buy Panadol at 4 in the morning, it's very tough, right? If you can't go somewhere within 15 to 20 minutes and get it and come home, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you have to feel a bit of compassion for these people. It might not be just be young people. It might be old people also, Harish.
Yeah.
It's not just yourself.
I was asking the rhetorical question, not from my perspective. Because if you give me a chance to speak, you finish your spiel first.
Correct. So it could be, old people who find it very hard to travel far distances. Or young parents who also cannot leave home for so long and all. Right?
No, exactly. You finished already?
Yeah.
So I was going to say, I don't think this is a case of Singaporeans getting soft.
Okay.
Okay. See, maybe next time you see the problem there. Right? I ask the question, you take the high horse, you come about as this fucking benevolent king, while I'm the the Grinch of BTOs like that.
Yeah.
No, I would say I don't think this is. There are many examples of society and individuals becoming soft, but in this case, I think I don't think it's becoming soft because I also feel that in Singapore. Because the moment you start thinking, oh, is this really the worst living situation you could be? No, then no one can ever point out anything that's lacking. Right? And I think in this case, if what was communicated to them is different from the reality, or if more could have been done that was not done, you cannot take away from the fact that they are facing some difficulties. And living in Singapore where it's so small, you can assume that your standard of living across Singapore should be similar, right? And if it is one place where you can't get a lot of this, it's an issue. So yeah.
If anything, it's a vouch for how good we have certain things in Singapore, right?
Yeah.
The fact that, even if a mobile grocery truck coming to your area and, vending machines trying to top up all these make up for the lack of amenities, people still it's still a drop from what people normally expect, right?
Yeah. But have you been in a place recently in Singapore where you felt how is this possible that I feel stranded?
Yes, I mean a lot of times in the Woodlands industrial areas. Sometimes I was there recently for meetings, and I was just asking the people that were working there, what do you do for lunch? Where do you go for lunch? And even they were like dismissive of my concern lah. They were like, "No, don't worry. There's just a kopitiam just down the road. Like it's like a 5-minute walk from here. And I was like, oh, okay. So I think because there are a lot of people who have worked there, lived around there for a while already. These businesses are there lah. Just that as a person visiting the place for the first time, you might not be familiar and you think that there's absolutely nothing here.
Or it's because you're like, 5-minute walk? I cannot just take lift. Only 5-minute walk.
No, it's a walk under. If it's raining, how?
Walao, it's raining.
Yeah. Depends 5 minutes walk in December weather can. 5-minute walk in like July, cannot.
I mean, to be fair, our walk to lunch is about 10 minutes.
It's
right?
10 minutes,
it's about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember the last time I felt stranded was when I was going for a shoot and it was at Raffles Marina.
Okay.
Okay, so Raffles Marina, I think it's Raffles Marina. It sounds like it's in town, right?
Yeah.
It's in Tuas.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember after the shoot, it was Raffles Marina, Tuas West Drive. So after the shoot, just trying to find like a cab outside, right? It took me about 40 minutes to get a cab.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I was like, oh shit, this is it's literally just like a few hundred meters away from the checkpoint, I think.
What are you doing there? A shoot lah?
Yeah, it was a shoot.
I see.
Because Raffles Marina is like this town club.
Yeah. Okay.
So they had a shoot there.
Yeah.
And I initially thought it was in the CBD, and there's some place you're like, oh shit, this is far, man.
Yeah.
Far. So Singapore's small, yes, but it's not like all roses everywhere.
And it's quite interesting because yesterday we literally were driving all around Singapore.
Yeah.
And we were seeing all the different
Little
nooks
pockets,
and crannies, right? And very different feel, like the mature estates versus the newer places and all that, right?
But
and even different SES levels.
Socio-economic tiers, yes, correct.
Right,
yeah. But that road trip made Singapore feel smaller.
It did.
We literally went around the whole center part, one big circle.
Yeah.
And we could do it in like a few hours.
Yeah, half a day. Yeah.
Half a day.
But shout out to all the people like, living in Tengah and like the hard life in Tengah, right? Roughing it out.
Yeah, correct. Roughing it out.
Because I mean, besides those complaints about lack of amenities, they dust, mosquitoes, and weak phone signals. So there are also things they're complaining about. Dust and mosquitoes because of all the construction going on.
Correct,
right? Yeah.
Correct.
Tough, man, tough. And some people like they do need their phones for work to be contactable at all times.
Yeah.
If there's no signal, if the reception is bad, then it's tough.
Yeah, the reception thing and the Google Maps thing, that one is a bit odd. It feels like it can be solved sooner.
Yeah. Wasn't like Elon Musk's Starlink like launching like hot air balloons with like Wi-Fi?
Well, Singapore, we don't have Starlink, right?
Yeah. We got StarHub. StarHub and Singtel.
We got StarHub and Singtel.
Shout out to anyone who, if our listeners, any listeners living in Tengah, please come on Reddit and tell us how the experience is.
Hopefully you can download it. Hopefully you can download the whole episode.
Podcast, maybe like it stutters when you try.
Exactly. We got 51 countries, listeners in 51 countries. Hopefully at least one or two of them in Tengah.
We can add Tengah.
Tengah is another country. Republic of Tengah. Correct. Tengah Island.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Cool.
All right.
And on to the one Shiok comment.
One Shiok comment.
My one Shiok comment is, I think Rose Gold Cat yesterday posted something very nice titled on Reddit the Terrence Harish and Tristan appreciation post. So just basically saying what Yellow But Podcast has meant to them during this year, right? In this season of introspection and thinking about what has been good for you or bad for you this year.
Yeah.
And encouraging other people to also come forward with their stories, which I think would be awesome because, it's nice to hear from yourselves and not just like from posting on your Spotify Wrapped or anything, but just hearing like what this podcast has meant for you. I think I've seen some recent comments and stuff where people also like, they're on long holiday trips and we've accompanied them on a lot of their long drives around and things like that, which is nice to know.
Yeah. So when you read it, like, what do you feel?
What do I feel?
Yeah.
Awesome. It's just this like sense of community. And yesterday we are on very long drives also. Not that we're listening to our own podcast or what, but I think the idea of like, okay, having something to occupy your your headspace is good lah. Right?
Yeah, I think it was awesome. I read it before sleeping last night, and I felt my eyes getting teary.
Oh really?
Really.
Why?
Don't know. I think because sometimes, I feel lately also like I'm feeling a bit like in a funk myself. Yeah, so reading that, I was like, oh, actually, that it's just nice to know the impact that we have, lah.
Yeah.
From this little thing that we do, and also that it was for Terrence, Harish, and Tristan, lah.
Yeah.
Which is good because not many people know dear Tristan.
Yeah. He's the one that provides you that comfort in your ear.
Yeah,
every episode.
He's the one who, when he went away for 1 week, we were like, oh shit.
Yes, I remember that week.
Yeah. So it was a nice post, lah. So big shout out to you, Rose Gold Cat, and whoever else commented.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, and then the one Shiok Thing.
What was your one Shiok comment? That was mine.
Oh, that's true.
Don't try and write my cocktails.
I mean, you purposely go first, right? Already I knew you were going to say that. Normally it's like, we be a bit more like polite. Hey, Terrence, why don't you go first? So you nicely just take basket. So I did have one. So basically, I don't think we ever went through just to close out the poll that was set up by Majestic Economy. Sorry, that's not my one Shiok comment. My one Shiok comment is a lot more superficial. Basically, on the episode 468 with Lawrence Wong and there's Circuit Breaker and all, original Goat One clarified that I have the right pronunciation. It's Brill Cream, not Brill Cream.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, he also spelled my name Harish, which is Haresh.
So you want to correct it, counter correction.
No, so I'm still willing to accept anyone else who feels otherwise, because ultimately it's one comment that has been upvoted 4 times. So maybe it's like 5 people or 4 people. Brill Cream, I stand by it, not Brill Cream.
Just like you stand by omelette.
Yeah, correct. Okay. Yeah. But that one is almost, I know
you're wrong.
I wouldn't say I'm wrong. I know I'm from the minority.
Yeah.
But all the what do you say? The taunting and the condescension that I've exposed makes me even dig in harder that I will say omelette.
Okay.
Any kids I have in future, you'll grow up eating omelettes. And they will make omelettes for their kids.
So in the same spirit, it will always be Brio Cream for me.
Okay, for you. Yeah. So I just want you to also feel what I have been going through.
No, I acknowledge I'm just being stubborn. Illogical.
Okay. Yeah, then you do you, man. I'm totally fine.
You do you.
I'm totally
That's what I'm saying. I say,
but
stubborn,
when people...
illogical, you then don't want to listen to the people tell you the right thing.
But Terrence, it's your life. It's your life.
Live your life.
You do what you have to do. Every time someone just points it out, I will just highlight to you that it's in your court to decide whether or not you want to say Brill Cream or Brill Cream.
The only difference is that probably omelette is around the world. More people say omelette than they say Brio Cream.
How you know?
Do a lot of people use Brio Cream still?
I don't know.
Much less, right?
I don't know, but that's a speculation. I need facts. I need facts.
But omelette is like, you walk to any cafe, there is so you want scrambled or omelette or what, So I think a lot more people say omelette. So your resistance to saying what is the supposed right thing is, there's a lot more, you're resisting a lot more.
But I've never been denied when I ask for an omelette, regardless of which restaurant I go to. Generally, the point of language and communication is to be understood. So if I say omelette, I get my eggs in that way. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what they say after that or whether they spit in the food.
Yeah.
But I still get my omelette.
They just laugh.
Maybe they laugh, but just like how I never laugh at you if you wanting to call it Brill Cream.
Yeah.
I hope you can extend the same olive branch.
I've never had the experience of walking to a place and buying Brio Cream. Or at least not. I think never in my life.
Or seeing Brill Cream on the menu.
Yeah. So it's not a word I use really regularly enough to test, to have a hypothesis
test the waters,
and test. Whereas yours, I think almost every week you can go and test whether people understand it. Right?
Yeah. All I can say is the more we talk about it, the more my nails get deeper. In the school of omelette.
Yeah, the more you just digging in.
Stubborn,
we didn't land on the moon and stuff like that, right?
Hey, don't anyhow extend that, Don't anyhow extend. This is not a conspiracy theory, right?
Yeah, the US election
is not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
All right, done,
yes.
Terrence. Shall we move on?
Yes.
To the one Shiok Thing.
Yeah.
I go first. You go first.
Yeah. Something came out on my feed recently, like this Japanese I guess a pop group called I forgot the name already. Atarashi Gakko. Have you heard of them?
No.
It's quite interesting. They were on Jimmy Kimmel a couple of nights ago. Japanese group. They sing quite I guess dancey tunes. And then there these 4 girls dressed in like Japanese school uniforms, and they have like quite interesting, funky choreography, and the songs are quite interesting. What immediately struck me was very Beastie Boys-ish the presentation, the way they sing, the way the songs sound, the way they almost like kind of irreverent, the whole style. And I even when I listened to the song, I was like, okay, interesting. Not exactly my cup of tea, but it seems like they're very popular. And I think over the last couple of years, they've been pushed a lot by 88 Rising.
Yeah.
And they've achieved like quite a lot of global popularity. Have you heard of them before?
No.
Never, right? Yeah.
No.
So it's quite new to me, and just went to a bit of wormhole, just watching their stuff and all. Then more recently I saw that a year ago they did a collab with a YouTuber that I was very fond of back in the day, Captain Disillusion.
Oh.
Yeah, so he did a collab with them where he created like VFX, using VFX magic. He created a lot of like music videos of the songs that they have done before, right? I think it looks like he had maybe a day or two to film with them, and he just filmed them in a green screen and then applied like these crazy layers of VFX and created this pretty awesome like short music video clips
is it?
based on their songs with them inside, and then they would help him do the music video. Like they would help put him on a chair and push him around so that he could film it properly. So it really felt like a collab lah.
Oh, is it?
Whereas it wasn't just a star coming onto a YouTube channel kind of thing. So there's something nice about that video, and then Captain Disillusion is awesome, right? The stuff he does. So yeah, it's a 22-minute video where he does like 3 different clips of the music videos. And it seems like this is the kind of collab that maybe like 10 years ago
still happened in YouTube.
But the fact that it happened a year ago, I'm like damn shocked.
What's the name of the group again?
Atarashi Gakko. Tristan, have you heard of them before? Atarashi Gakko. No, yeah.
No.
Wow. They're on Jimmy Kimmel.
Really?
So they're pretty big already. Yeah.
Wow. Solid. Yeah. So like your one Shiok Thing is
that collab.
That collab.
Captain Disillusion.
Captain Disillusion does VFX stuff.
Remember he was very much into debunking all the...
Oh yeah, he was a debunker, but he does VFX also, is it?
Yeah, so he knows VFX also. That's why he knows how to debunk all these things also, right?
Oh.
So you watch the video, he really shows you the process of how he does the VFX. And where he was getting inspiration from different music videos, and it was quite cool, like how he layered everything together.
Yeah. I see.
Wow, but yes, cool. What is your one Shiok Thing?
Yeah, my one Shiok Thing is this article that I saw pop up first on Instagram, then I clicked. Basically, it was an article on a bunch of seniors aged between 62 and 74 who meet like twice a week on Discord to play Counter-Strike Go together.
Okay.
And it all started because they took a 14-week course to learn how to play the game. So there is a course that teaches seniors by the Lien Foundation, which is a non-profit organization. It's a 14-week silver esports training program, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
And the video that they upload on Instagram is damn cute because one of the women, like an auntie, is just like going ape shit at someone while playing the Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And it's like, you would imagine young teenagers doing that, but these are seniors who get together to play, and I think it's awesome.
Wow.
And you hear them talk about guns and shotguns and all.
Yeah.
And a noob like me, right? For the longest time, I thought Counter-Strike Go was at some point like a mobile version of the game or something. Like HBO Go. But it actually stands for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I can sense like Tristan rolling his eyes at me already.
Yeah.
Because CSGO is a huge thing. And even yesterday I was asking Tristan, he told me it's just another installment in the game.
Yeah.
But only from reading this article, I was like, GO stands for Global Offensive. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know.
I
don't play.
Yeah. So the initiative basically is to allow seniors to develop their motor skills, fight loneliness, and help them age actively.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Pretty awesome.
So cool.
Classic Singapore way lah. You want to learn to do something. You want to do something.
Take a course.
Go and take a course.
Yeah.
Upskill.
But if they play it, solid, man. Solid. 14 weeks, 14-week course. Yeah, cool. That's our one Shiok thing, man.
Yeah.
So as always, if you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with someone you may not have heard of us.
Especially during this, when you're meeting
Festive
a lot of
period.
new people, right? And over dinner, they ask you, hey, what do you do for fun?
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you about this podcast.
Yeah, funny, you should ask. I have it
Yeah.
right on my phone. Yeah, exactly. And also that survey with
Yes.
Lendela.
Yes.
Just 2 minutes, okay? 2 minutes of your time. The link is in the show notes. Click, just submit. It would really help us out.
Yeah.
It would really help us get brand partners that work for you guys as well. And yeah, you can win a shopping voucher.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Thanks, everybody.